welcome back to Oh My Bookishness. Today we are doing the chocolate book tag, even though nobody, you know how this works on this channel. Nobody tags me. I do the tag anyways. I don't tag anyone. I'll tag you. You're tagged, okay? You can do this if you want to. Nobody tagged me. I just find fun random tags on YouTube and want to do them, so I do, and that's how it works here. This one was originally created by a Daydreamer's Ramblings, who I will link down below, so you can check out her video if you'd like. And I have chocolate here because it's a chocolate book tag and they couldn't not. So let's get started with what I'm currently reading, which I am listening to The Picture of Dorian Gray right now for a book club, and it's okay. It's okay. It's not my thing. Very thought-provoking, very beautiful prose. It's a lovely, thinky book, I'm sure. I'm in chapter 3, so hopefully it'll get a little bit more. I don't think it will, but it's not really my kind of book, but we'll keep chugging along at it. And I'm listening to it, which is nice because it's easier for me to listen to classics than to actually read them, because if I read them, then I read the same page, like, what did I just read? Go back. What did I just read? So with the listening, I can pay attention a little bit better sometimes. And you get like the tone of voice too to kind of convey more meaning. So I enjoy that. And then I am also reading right now Styling the Stars, this big old book I got from the library. And it's a bunch of continuity shots from 20th Century Fox archives. And it has like, let me find a good one for you. So pretty much, what they would do is they'd take a picture of the actor or actress before they'd film a scene so that they could get like a good idea of what their costume looked like, their costume, their hair, their makeup, make sure it all looked exactly the same the next day so that it would look like it's in the same scene. You know, they might be filming the same scene over multiple days, so that's what these are for. And it's just really interesting and fun to look at. Moving on to the actual tag, let's get started. I got my notes here, we're ready to go. So the first one is Dark Chocolate, which is a book that talks about a dark topic. You know, like murder and things, dark things. For that, I went with Banned Book Club, which is a graphic novel about South Korea in the 80s and some of the censorship that went on with their books and things like that. And it follows a girl who is in college, and she joins this super secret book club where they talk about these banned books and things that their government doesn't want them to read. And it's super interesting. It was very eye-opening too, because I don't know a ton about recent history for other countries other than America and some of Europe, just because that's not really what I was taught in school. So it's very interesting because I knew nothing about South Korea in the 80s. So this is a very good book. It does go into some darker topics, but still excellent read. For book number 2, we're going with White Chocolate, a favorite lighthearted read. And for that, I went with Calvin and Hobbes, because how can you not? It's Calvin and Hobbes. And this one is a good lighthearted read. Sometimes they do cover like philosophical material. You never know what you're gonna get with Calvin and Hobbes, but usually with a lighthearted undertone for everything. And this has always been, well, since middle school, this has been a favorite of mine. I got sick one time, and my dad, whose name is Calvin, he had another book of Calvin and Hobbes, not this one, and I can't remember what it was, but he let me read it while I was sick, and since then I have loved Calvin and Hobbes. Then number 4 is a chocolate with a caramel center that made you feel gooey inside when you read it. And for that, I went with, oops, I skipped one, but we'll go back to it. For the chocolate caramel one, I went with Howl's Moving Castle because It is just, it makes you feel all the warm gooey inside, and there's romance and friendship and adorableness and those awesome vibes. Highly recommend this and the movie if you haven't seen it already. And then going back one to Milk Chocolate, which is actually the third prompt, but we're doing things out of order, I guess. For Milk Chocolate, it's a book that has a lot of hype that you are dying to read. And for that one, I went with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which has been very popular right now. It's like constantly on hold at the library, I've noticed. And this is the UK cover, which my friend gave me. Very beautiful. Look at it. Oh. But this is basically a book about, as far as I can remember, it's a woman who makes a deal with a rather shady character and makes a deal to live forever. But the catch is that, like, after she's done talking to someone, the conversation ends, she walks away, they forget her. They forget that they ever had that conversation. And so pretty much she's invisible. But it sounds like such a great read, and I love stories with characters that span over, like they are immortal, basically. Like, I love the idea of that, and it's fun and enjoyable to me. So very excited to read this one. I'll let you know what I think once I read it. Moving on to number 5, which is a little bit weird. It's a Wafer Free Kit Kat, which the prompt is a book that surprised you lately. And a Wafer Free Kit Kat would definitely surprise me if I bit into a Kit Kat and there was no wafer. That'd be kind of sad. But for that one, I went with A Court of Swans, which I have talked about before on this channel when I was reading it. I think that was like 2 videos ago, don't know. But this one pleasantly surprised me because I have read other Melanie Dickerson books and I have not enjoyed them very much sometimes. Her characters are always just a little bit flat and her plots don't always draw me in. But this one, the plot definitely drew me in and held my attention a lot more, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. Then number 6, we're going for a book that you are going nuts about. And for that, I went with, this is kind of a weird pick, because I know a lot of people didn't really like it, which I don't quite understand, and the reasons that they gave for not liking it were like you knew what you were getting into when you picked this up, right? So it's part of the Grishaverse, so Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, that whole world, which is part of the reason why I'm going nuts over it, because there's such a Grishaverse hype right now because the show is coming out in April and the last book is coming out at the end of this month. I already pre-ordered it because I'm a nerd, and even though I shouldn't be spending the money, I did it anyways. But anyways, so this one is Lives of Saints, which is basically it's kind of weird, it's the religious text for the world that they live in, and it talks about like their saints, which are kind of their deities, sort of. They're kind of like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's basically the religious text for their world, and it's illustrated, which is another reason I'm going nuts over it, because look at, gaze upon the beauty, gorgeous. But it's a very interesting read. It's just kind of stories about how their saints became saints, and it's kind of like bedtime story kind of things with lots of morals and stuff like that, which I thought was an interesting read. Other people didn't seem to think so, don't know why. Moving on to 7, which is Hot Chocolate with Cream and Marshmallows, a comfort book that you go to read. For that, I went with Thief Lord, which is like my favorite book ever, probably. I have a bunch of favorite books, but this one is, it takes place in Venice, which, you know, this is the reason why I'm obsessed with Venice, is this book right here. It's a whole other story, but it's pretty much about a gang of petty criminals who are all children, and their leader, who is the Thief Lord, and this heist that they have to accomplish, and there's some magic involved maybe, and it's just, it takes place in Venice, and it's a wonderful read, and now I kind of want to reread it. And then finally we have 8, which is Box of Chocolates, something with a wide variety of stuff. A little bit of something for everybody. A series, specifically, with something for everybody. And for that, I went with the Lunar Chronicles. No surprise there. This series is one of my favorites. It has a little bit of something for everyone. Don't let the like cover and the fact that it's about a girl fool you. It's for everybody, okay? Everyone should read this. It has space adventures and princesses and robots and soldiers and wolf monsters, and there's androids, there's like royalty, there's poison, there's, not in this book specifically, there's like a worldwide disease that's wreaking havoc on the world, and that's a little bit too real, but you know, it's got a little bit of everything. There's romance, there's friendship, there's fun, there's, you know, criminal activity. I don't know what else you want, but it probably has a little bit of it in here. And if you've read the first one and didn't like it very much, I highly suggest you still pick up the second one, because I know a lot of people who have read the first one, didn't like it, and then read the second one, Scarlet, and they enjoyed that one, and that's what made them keep reading the series. So maybe try Scarlet if you didn't like Cinder, and maybe that will draw you back into the wonderful world of the Lunar Chronicles. Highly recommend for everyone. It's got something for everybody. All right, so that is the end of the chocolate book tag, and I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I had a lot of fun. I got to eat some chocolate, and it's been a good day. So like I said, I tag you. I was not tagged by anyone, but I tag you, so you're tagged. Go ahead and do this if you want to, if you feel like it. I don't know how else to end the video, so goodbye.